Hi, I'm Lisa, and I live in Panama City, Panama. And I make videos about my life here, the good stuff, the bad stuff, the bizarre stuff, and the TIP, this is Panama stuff. Sometimes I think I came for the good weather and the tranquilo lifestyle. Other times I think I came just to be embarrassed and humiliated by my Spanish speaking. But anyway, this is a continuation of how my Spanish is going. In this week's adventure, I think there are probably four things that are probably noteworthy. Um, the first one, so this past weekend, I had a friend come in from the interior. So they call the interior anything that is between Panama City and Costa Rica is considered the interior. And this friend lives in Penanome, and she came to Panama City because she was heading back to the States for a few days. But while she was here, she wanted to go to Cinnabon because there are no Cinnabons in Penanome. There are Cinnabons here in Panama City. And so when we got there, I already know what I want. But they, my friend and some other friends, they were still looking at the whatever you call it, the marquee that has all of the what you can buy. So while they're sitting there, standing there, figuring out what they want, I go up to the person behind the counter, and I start to speak to him about what I want. But he immediately says something to me in, again, rapid fire Spanish. And for a split second, I want to freeze because that's my go-to. Ugh. So anyway, I decided I'm not going to freeze. I'm going to ask him, ¿Qué dijiste? ¿Qué dijiste? What did you say? Lo siento. ¿Qué dijiste? And so I also told him, I'm just learning Spanish. Estoy aprendiendo español. No es bueno. Necesito que me hablas muy despacio. I need you to talk to me very slowly. And so he smiled, which is always a good sign. And then he said, I am still helping the lady over there, who was actually starting to walk over to where I was. And as soon as I'm finished with her, I will get to you. And I said, thank you, gracias. But I was amazed because when he slowed it down, I could actually understand what he was saying. When it's fast, I cannot, because I can't hear yet. I'm going to say yet. I can't hear yet where one word ends and the next word begins, not all the time. I'm getting better, but it's still not there. But when he slows it down, I can get it. And so he's working with the lady there, and I'm just waiting because I know what I want, and I'm just waiting for him to finish. But in the meantime, one of the other ladies who was behind the counter came up and to help me. And so she says in rapid fire Spanish something that I cannot understand. But before I can tell her, I need you to slow down, the guy who told me to wait leans over to her and says, I can hear it, it's in Spanish, but he says, she speaks English and you need to talk slowly, which I really appreciated. And so she then says, slowly, enough for me to understand, would you like to try our new whatever it was in the glass? And I'm amazed because I'm really starting to pick up Spanish. And so I tell her, no, yo quiero una caja de seis. I want a box of 6, una caja de 6 Cinnabons, because they call Cinnabons, y también, yo quiero un Cinnabon con maní. I want a Cinnabon with nuts. I probably said peanuts instead of walnuts, but I don't know the word for walnuts. And I figured I was going to get my point across if I said maní. And that's the word for nuts here in Panama, because different countries have different words for different things. And that's the one thing I've learned about Spanish. Um, Depending on the region that you're in, they use different words. And so here, it's mani. I know when I had exchange students living with me, one of the words that they used was cacahuete for nuts. So anyway, she understood what I was saying, which is really all I need. And so I got my box of 6 and my single with the nuts. But my friends overheard it and they said, oh, we should get Lisa to translate for us. And I'm like, no, y'all need to learn your own Spanish. So anyway, that was my first experience. That started the week. My second experience, so I go to a game night here on Wednesday nights, and we meet at a location called Daiquiri 23. And so I go to play spades because I love playing spades. And the waiter that's there, 2 waiters there that they're learning English, and we're all like at various stages of speaking Spanish. But I remember when I was getting ready to leave, I instead of waiting for them to come to me, I just went up to the counter to pay my bill. And so when I got up, as I was walking up to the counter, I said to the waiter, "Yo quiero pagar." And he looked at me, he's like, "Oh, you're speaking Spanish today?" And I'm like, "Yes, yo necesito practicar." And he said, "Oh, look at you." And so I did that. And then after I paid it, as I was getting ready to leave, I said, "Nos vemos la próxima semana." I'll see you next week. We'll see each other next week. And he's like, "Oh," he started clapping, which made me feel good that my Spanish at this particular time was good. Next thing. So here, every 3 months, 3 to 6 months, if you're living in a PH, a condo, it's necessary that you get your inverter AC maintained every 3 to 6 months. I get mine done every 3 months. And so I had the AC maintenance person come. Oof, we struggled through that Spanish conversation. It's like one day you know how to speak Spanish, and the next day you have no idea how to speak Spanish. And so I'm trying to talk to her with things that I know, but for some reason it's just not coming. And so we struggled for that hour and a half, 2 hours that she was here, because my Spanish I was just having old person brain freezes, just not even remembering my Spanish. So that happens. Like one day you can be good and the next day you're not. And some days you can speak to people and it's like you're clicking and they're understanding you and you're understanding them. And then the next day you can go to speak Spanish and people are looking at you like you're growing 3 horns out of your nose. Like they don't understand anything. So anyway, that conversation with her yesterday, actually it was yesterday, when she was here to maintain the ACs, it was just crazy. But then later on in the day, I decided to go to, there's a fair that they have every year here in Panama called the National Book Fair, La Feria de Libros. And it's very close to me at Atlapa Convention Center. But it is very popular and very well attended. And so this year when I went, I decided that I was going to buy some additional children's books because I have found that reading children's books really helps me with my Spanish because it has the vocabulary is basic enough that I understand what's going on and I can understand the verb tenses, and so it just helps me to understand and to speak it. And so these are some of the books that I bought. So I bought 2 children's books. This one is Las Aventuras del Zorro, or Zorro, because there is no Z sound. Sherlock Holmes. And yeah, it's a children's book, but this is how I learned Spanish. Don't judge me. I also bought El Jardín Secreto or Secreto. I will figure out how to say these with the right accents, but this is Secret Garden. I also bought a crossword puzzle with to help me to understand my words. This is an older book that I've already had. I should have shared that with you last time I talked with you all. This one is an older book too that I bought when I first got here. I find that these don't really help me with learning my Spanish because I'm just really looking at or just finding words, which doesn't really help me with my vocabulary. So anyway, just wanted to share that. But that's how my Spanish is going this week. I had 3 good sessions of speaking with other people. I left out my Uber drivers. 2 of them were good. We had conversations, and the other one was like, I don't understand what you're saying. Go figure. And then just sharing with you the things that helped me, and maybe they'll help you. Who knows? But anyway, as we say here, not hasta luego, but hasta luego, y nos vemos pronto.